I always try to get like a startup if I can. A little harder with having to run all the way around. Sounds pretty good. Don't hear anything that has any concerns for me. I do hear a little bit of accessory wisp, but nothing squealing or causing issues. Valve covers are really dry. Something I noticed in this engine bay, we got quite a bit of rust on those manifolds. And then you can kind of see on the towers here. But belts and hoses and everything are in good shape. I did note that this has been broken. It's still doing its job, but that's kind of, you know, one good rip out of there or something. This is like the protective shell of it. Fuse box here, battery from 23. Doesn't look like there's any corrosion really on there or anything like that. Some under here, but I think it was jump started based on like the times being all incorrect and everything like that. This is an electric assist power steering. Brake fluid is a little darker than I like to see. That's usually a sign of moisture. One of the more neglected fluids on cars, so just something to keep in mind. And then we'll go down here. This is gonna be your frame sticking through here. I always look at these to see if there's any kind of like rippling or marks or any kind of signs that these have been messed with or worked on. It's usually a sign that something's been in there or something hit there, but not too bad. The air filter was replaced last summer based on the date they put on it. Accessories and everything look good. Work as intended. Not too bad. I didn't get a true cold start on this guy, but it sounded good when I got it. It wasn't at operating temp when I got it, but just not a true cold start. It's gonna stop there. All right, we're gonna do a quick walk around on this, just kind of highlight a few things. Being a truck, it does have some scratches, some dings, some dents. It's not perfect. Paint's in decent shape, but there is some like swirling and scratches and stuff in this paint. It could use a correction. Up here on the bumpers, you can see where like it's been painted, but it had some like chips and stuff in there at one point. A little bit of pitting in these lights. It's just normal over time on like logging roads or back roads. They're not broken at all, but they're just kind of rough, hazy. Glass is in good shape. Mirrors are in really good shape. They are power folding. Steps are also in good shape. There's some oxidation on these plastics, but they're all in one piece. They're not cracking or chipping or hanging off. On the rear here, the bumper like this. Got some like bubbling here. It's just shines of moisture underneath the paint and some scratching. So it just gets worse from there. A major thing I thought I found, you know, these cabs are pretty common for rust over time. You can kind of see here where they like it's been painted over at one point in its life, starting to chip a bit. I accidentally pushed that a little bit, so it's kind of soft, but still hard, but right here is a little soft. And when I do the undercarriage, you'll see better, but on both sides, just kind of those corners, it's really common in our area. It happens to the Rams too. But canopy's in good shape, color match like I said. Glass is all there. Glasses are good. There is some chips in the windshield, but nothing major, nothing that's in your way. Yeah, the cab's my biggest concern on this. So overall, I mean, it's just trucks doing truck things. But you can see here, this one's not soft or anything, but the paint is bubbling. You know, a little bit of softness back here. You can kind of push on that with your finger. So something to look at. There's a little there's a little panel that can be cut out and put into these. Over time, it's just something that's happening on these aluminum trucks too. So just keep an eye on it. All right, so we're doing an undercarriage. We always use this mirror so we can get a good underside. I always go from the front first so I can just see if anything is hanging down, sagging, or wet. All looks pretty good. You'll see here, go to this side, we do have some good surface rust forming on these control arms. Really keep an eye on that. Obviously it supports the weight of the vehicle up here and you turn on there, so just keep an eye on those. We don't want them to get too bad. This is our driver front corner. You can see your cat on this side. Transmission, all pretty good. This is gonna be your cab. Some surface rust here. Body mount where the body and the frame meet together. Frame's in good shape. Looks really good. Come back here. It's gonna be your cab. You can see, like I said, the paint is kind of bubbling on there. A little bit of surface rust coming through. It is have some soft points, but the frame, good shape. There's your leaf spring perch in good shape. Shock mount, all looks good. We're gonna go to the back now. All right, so original spare, you can see up in that wheel. I don't know how trustworthy that would be. Probably, I'd be amazed if you can even get it out of there. That's the original guy. Now over here, frame, perches, all look good, but you can see that surface rust. I was saying in my notes that this could use a really good treatment and then re-undercoat it just to get ahead of all that. Obviously, if that gets too bad, it'll become a pretty major issue on these trucks. Here we are on that passenger rear corner. You see there that cab, and then your body mount and leaf spring perch. So you can see where the surface rust is starting to form on like the seams and everything there. We just really want to stay ahead of that stuff. And then your front cat on this side. Not too bad. Fronts are doing pretty good. Body mount, but we just want to also keep note of the surface rust on the inside of the suspension area. So that's gonna be your undercarriage. All right, so this is gonna be our interior portion. We start off with the wheel here. Pretty good shape. It's a little smoother at the top, but there's no rips or tears or any kind of like damage. It's just been used but not abused. You got all your phone controls, volume, radio, and then cruise control and information. Current mileage, we're at 165,083. They did have some mileage information, so I just left that open there, just kind of get some good stats. Pretty low on fuel, so I tried to do the best I could with how much distance it was giving me. No real extra controls. There is the move of the pedals. It does have auto on the doors, and then the folding mirrors. This driver mirror, it kind of shakes a little bit. I kind of smooth it out, but you see how it kind of jumps a little bit. Something to keep in mind there. And then on here, these don't work in unison, both of those on that side. Everything here does what it should. CD player, heated seats, dual climates, no AC seats, unfortunately. This does have a rear locker when you're in four-wheel drive. And then in reverse, you have the backup camera in the mirror there. It's going off because I have the tailgate open. Sunroof opens and closes, but the rear sliding window is unresponsive with the switch. I'm gonna pause here and we're gonna look on the outside going in. All right, so this is the driver front. Door cards are in pretty good shape. There was some notes about it being loose. They're all re-secured, so I'm not sure if it was just something they were doing or the scenario or something at the time, but it's solid. Memory, power seats on this side. Carpets are in really good shape. Pedals as well. Going off to the back here. Back seats don't look too abused. Lightly used. Nice weather mat back here as well. Carpet in good shape. And then you got some wear on there. I did notice here, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see a little bit of moisture evidence in the headliner there. Otherwise in good shape. Door cards. You'll see like this one, like some stains in there or something over time. Just stuff gets in that mesh. It's really hard to get it out. I'm gonna switch sides. All right, so passenger side door card, really good shape. Seats here, they do fold up with some storage stuff. I believe this is like all the tools and stuff. This is gonna be like the stereo tools and stuff are on this side. Looks really good. And the passenger side, power seats here as well. Those are in good shape. No nicks or anything like that. There's an owner's manual in there. Door cards are in good shape. It's going to conclude our interior. All right, so this is going to be trunk or truck bed portion. This does have the step with the handle and a color match topper here, but these struts have given up the ghost. It's not holding anymore. Truck has a rubber lay-in, so you can kind of see where it's been rubbing over the years, but it's been in there pretty much the majority of its life, it seems. Some scratches and stuff, but no real like damage. Sometimes you'll see these like caved in or dented in or anything like that. It looks pretty good. Been used, but looks pretty good. The plastics have a little bit of stuff. There's some like I don't know, it's like concrete or something, like plaster on the tailgate here. This all goes up as it should. Hold up. Oh, lift this guy out of the way. Boom, boom. There's your backup camera. That locks. There we go. Alright, so this is going to be our code scan portion. I'm going to be fighting the sun just a little bit here. There we go. So we do have some faults on here. A couple of them I recorded down. Most of them are going to be lost communication. But the PCM, we had misfire on startup within the first 1,000 RPM, cylinder 3. And then we have some mirror faults. You'll see I was talking about on the interior, it's kind of ratchety. It kind of just shakes a little bit as it moves. It still moves as it should. It's just not like smooth like the other side. And then some lost communication stuff on these other ones. It was like driver's seat, and then there was like a body one, but I put all those down into like the technical bits, so you'll have like the numbers and everything on there, so you can have that. But I'm also gonna have some images here. I'm gonna go to this module here. I just want to show this one. Takes a couple seconds here, shouldn't be too long. So yeah, so cylinder 3 misfire, and then misfire detected on startup, so first 1,000 revolutions, and then the other ones are just communication. The battery's been replaced at some point. So we're gonna move on to the monitors here. Just give me one sec. All right, so these are gonna be monitors. These are all supposed to reset while we're doing our drive. We do have quite a few open ones. I'm not sure if they had to jump start this or not. The times are not correct on the radio, and like I said, we had some lost communication stuff, so they might have had to jump it. We tried to do 10 miles to get this. I did a nice highway pull, and I let it get pretty warm. I didn't have a ton of fuel, so I didn't go as far as I would have liked, but I made sure to get it up to temp before I shut it down. So we should have more monitors cleared through here. Like I said, if the car sits a lot and they had to jump start it, that's a little bit harder. Sometimes that takes up to 20 miles of driving. So just keep that in the back of your mind, something to kind of pay attention to as well. All right, this is gonna be our conclusion on this 2011 F-150. Has the 5-liter in it. Runs good, has plenty of power, lots of get up and go, low end grunt. It's good on these, that's what we like. Plenty of get up and go. Transmission has a manual shift. I did have a little bit of a hesitation, 2 to 3 on there. Overall drives good, steers straight, brakes straight. You get a little bit of vibration on hard braking, but I noticed there's some cupping on these tires, so just keep an eye on that. Get an alignment check if you feel like it's wearing weird. Main thing we found on these cabs, corners, have quite a bit of soft. Looks like it's been painted over at some point in its life, but you just want to make sure that gets addressed correctly on these corners, because if that gets much worse, it's going to start intruding into the cab, and you don't want that. Rear slider window doesn't work, but everything else is fully functional. There was some codes for a misfire like when you first start this on cylinder 3, but it doesn't seem to miss or anything when you're driving it around. It's not shaky or rattly. Drives pretty good. Like I said, it has plenty of kick down really good, gets up to speed really good, brakes well. All the buttons and everything really work except for that rear slider window. Paint could use some paint correction. There's a good amount of swirls, some dings, some like scratching and dents and stuff like that. Just kind of all around you'll see this area where it's like bubbling on the paint, but pretty good. Not terrible. The main things I'm going to stress for you on this, make sure we get the misfire thing, figured that out. and then the cab corners definitely needs to figure that out. It's just getting common with age on these trucks. Some moisture in here, but everything works as intended. So it's not a perfect truck, but it's, you know, been doing truck things. The wheels and tires are in pretty good shape. I do like Coopers. They drive well, they last well. Just kind of, like I said, check that alignment, kind of keep that up. Some light scratching on these 20s, but they look really good actually for our area. Yeah, it's gonna be our conclusion on this 2011 F-150. Thanks.